Hello and welcome to Market House, a podcast where we talk all things Disney. My name is Caleb and I am your host. And let me tell you, I am so excited to talk Disney this week because this has been a very stressful time because of car troubles. And I know all of us experience it, but this one's unique in the fact that our car is just done, one of them. So my wife's car, she's had that for about 5-6 years. She's an old little thing and it's time to retire her and for her to go to car heaven. So that was a fun surprise. And by fun, I mean stressful. So again, when life hits you and hits you hard, it's fun to escape and talk about Disney. So I'm excited to share our trip report with you later on in this episode, but let me go ahead and pause here and explain, because I didn't do this in the last episode, why this podcast is called Market House. And again, the diehard Disney fans probably already know this, but Market House is the coffee shop on Main Street. And I know they serve Starbucks coffee, so before you go, excuse me, it's Starbucks. No, it's Market House. If you look up and look at the sign, it reads Market House. And so it used to be just called, plain old Market House. There was no Starbucks coffee in there back in the day. It's since changed to Starbucks, but that's what I thought to name it after, because like you heard in the last episode, I want you to grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, if you're British, whatever you like, and just sit down with me and talk Disney. So that's why it's named that, why it's Market House. So again, let's go ahead and dive into the news. All right, the first news item is a follow-up from last week. Disney's Merriest Nights event, the special ticketed event that only had 5 nights available, is still available. The only 2 dates that are sold out are the December dates, and all of November is still available. So if you're still interested, you can still hop on there and buy some tickets. But it makes me wonder, is this a sign that there's just not that much pent-up demand for special events around Christmas? Or is it COVID related? People may not want to travel or commit that amount of money for an event that may be canceled, due to increasing COVID numbers, or who knows. But I was very surprised to see that dates are still available and that this thing is not sold out. Because again, Oogie Boogie sold out in 2 weeks and that had 20-something dates. So the fact that this thing's still available is a little surprising. So again, if you're interested, hop on there, buy them because they're still there. But again, it's curious. It's curious that there are still days available. So just something to keep an eye out on. All right, next up is a guy over in Disney World skipped a bunch of lines using a stolen Disney iPad. And you're hearing that right. A guy stole an iPad from Disney. No one knows how he got it or where he stole it from, and skipped a bunch of lines using a service on that iPad, and was eventually caught by Disney employees or cast members and was approached by police and this whole scene, but they did not press charges. So surprising to me that Disney did not press charges on a guy that stole property from them and abused a service the whole day, but they seem to have let it go. But yeah, kind of a funny news story. It reached mainstream news. It was all over the place, but yeah, guy stole an iPad and had a good day riding 30 rides, I'm assuming, because he skipped every line. But folks, don't steal and just wait in line like the rest of us. Download a bunch of games on your phone. It goes by fast, but seriously, don't steal from Disney. Not cool. All right, if you're hungry for some burgers, go to McDonald's, because they have a Disney World 50-year anniversary celebration going on, and you can get 50 different toys in your kids' meal. So this is the only kids' meal toy that I'm getting excited about. Now, I don't usually eat at McDonald's, but hey, if I can get an Olaf or a Mickey Mouse in my Happy Meal, shoot, I might just go. So yeah, if you're looking for a burger and some French fries and maybe a little bit of heart disease, head over to McDonald's, get in that drive-thru line, and get a Disney toy with your burger. Our final news item is that Disney is deciding to release their movies theaters only for the rest of 2021. So instead of releasing both on Disney Plus and the theater, they're choosing just to go back to the old school theater release. So kind of interesting. I mean, I think COVID's still alive and well in the country, so a little surprised that they're choosing this route to go theaters only, because I'm assuming the Disney Plus numbers were pretty strong, given that, I mean, shoot, I chose to watch them from home for most of this last year because I wasn't comfortable going to the theaters, and I enjoyed that option. It was a little steep. $30 is kind of steep for just two people. For families, I get it, right? A trip to the theater is like $100, but $30 to sit at home and eat my own popcorn and, eat my own snacks, I'll pay all day, every day. But yeah, a little bummed to see that they're moving to theater only, but, I'm not surprised because this new Marvel movie, Shang-Chi, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but that did super well, and that was a theater only. That did $90 million its first weekend. So it looks like the theaters are back and stronger than ever. So again, you might be bummed about this news. You might be super excited because, again, the movies are going back to the movie theaters, and you can find the next 6 Disney movies that are going to be released through 2021 all in the theaters. All right, folks, it's time for my trip report. This is going to be kind of a summary of our last trip to Disney, which was a totally last-minute trip over the Labor Day weekend. Kind of just decided, what, we've waited long enough. It's time to go back to Disney. So we have not been to Disneyland since October of 2019, pre the world ending, essentially. We did sneak over to Disney World in between that time, but we have not been back to our home park since 2019. So this was our homecoming trip. It was fantastic. Again, I'll just kind of spoil it. It was a great trip. It's Disneyland. It's hard to kind of be messed up or a bad experience. So, of course, we had a good time. But, things have changed. Post-COVID, or I would argue we're still kind of in it, but post the main wave of COVID, things have changed and they're not 100% normal yet. And I don't think they will be for a while. And I will I'll share that and share what we experienced and the differences that you can expect to experience in your trip if you have a trip coming up. So the first thing I'm going to cover is park reservations. So this is a new thing for all of us over here on the West Coast, but reserving dates with your ticket. So you used to be able to buy a 3-day park hopper, walk right up to the gate. I want to use them. You pop into the park and you're there. But now you have to kind of plan ahead and pick dates that are available. So we had no problems. We had 4-day park hoppers, and we had no problem getting reservations for the Labor Day weekend super last minute. So that was surprising. Did not, come across blocked out dates. But Magic Key holders look to be blocked out on Labor Day and the day after. So not blocked out, excuse me. There was no more reservations. Sold out would be the right term. So even for the Dream Key, which is the top one, it was straight up sold out on reservations for those 2 days. So looks like they're prioritizing ticket holders, and that does not surprise me because ticket holders spend on average more per day than a Magic Key holder or annual pass holder. So looks like they're prioritizing that. It shouldn't surprise anybody. And Magic Key reservations are second to that. So we had no problems, but just a heads up for people that are Magic Key holders or ticket holders and are concerned about reservations, seems like they're prioritizing tickets over Magic Keys. We decided to stay at the Hampton Inn Garden Grove, which is down on Harbor, kind of far. It's like a 15-20 minute walk. And we decided to actually end our stay there short. So we cut it short. We only stayed there one night. We were supposed to be there 3 nights for these reasons. Going to sleep, right? It's late. I'm tired from the first day at the park, and the AC kicks on, and it sounds like that thing is going to like leap from the wall. I don't even know. It had this belt in it, I think, or something. It was screeching, and people were slamming doors all night. At 3 a.m, I was woken up by someone next door slamming a door. And so I was like, I can't do this. I need my sleep. I'm an old man. I get grumpy without my sleep. So turned to my wife and said, okay, are you willing to walk to another hotel and try our luck there? So we ended up moving mid-stay over to the Hilton Anaheim, the conference center one, or convention center. And that was a better stay. It's a decent place. We got a decent rate, so I wasn't too worried about it. But it's closer to the parks. It's a decent spot to kind of put your head down at night. but we were surprised. Let me tell you our breakfast story. So we wake up, we're starving, and I don't want to wait till the park. So I just go, let's go down to the Starbucks in the lobby. You know, it's convenient. It's Starbucks. I can get some egg bites and a coffee, and we can walk to the park. So we order our food, and the barista, or the girl, the cashier goes, okay, that'll be $33. And I turned to my wife and I'm like, did I hear her right? And we ordered 2 orders of egg bites and 2 like tall drinks, and it was $33. So I'm like, this has to be a mistake. Like, she maybe thinks I ordered something different or what. So no, it just turns out it's a convention center hotel, and there's a premium to the Starbucks there. So it was straight up $30 for breakfast that morning. So again, a warning, if you're going to stay there, just skip it. Go walk to McDonald's or Wendy's or the parks. I mean, shoot, at that price, it's the same amount of money. Might as well go get some park food, or actually, have some good surroundings and whatever. Anyways, that was a surprise. I will not be doing that again, but shoot, those were some good $30 egg bites, let me tell you. But that kind of leads me to my next point. And again, I want you to hear me, or kind of hear my heart. But the walk down harbor is getting so bad. Like, you're coming across, people that are a little, it's a little sketch, and people smoking weed up and down the road, and music blasting from cars when they're driving by at 12 in the morning or 11 at night when you're walking to your hotel at night. So man, it's just not a great experience. And again, Disney can't control that. I totally get that, but it's a shame because you've got young kids tired from the parks, you've got parents that are tired from the parks, and you're having to be kind of on like high alert walking to your hotel that's half a mile away down harbor. And so it's just disappointing. Again, just a heads up for you, if you're planning on going down, just kind of be aware at night. And past 8, past 9 o'clock, things start getting a little different on that road. So just keep your head on a swivel, look around when you're walking, and just get to your hotel. But again, it's out of Disney's hands, but it's just something to keep note of. So let's go ahead and just dive into our food experience. So food's different right now at the parks, and it's just no getting around it. So we, of course, prioritize mobile ordering for the most part. They're really, kind of putting that in your face, like mobile order. There's signs everywhere. It's, there's hosts in the front that are saying, hey, you can skip that standby line if you just mobile order, download the app and order your food. So for the most part, it works great. You can order your food, and within 30 minutes, you're picking it up at the window and sitting down. But I will say there was a couple times where we ate about an hour later than we would have liked because the mobile ordering was so busy. So at popular times, 12 o'clock, right, for lunch, 6 o'clock for dinner, you're probably going to have a long wait. So plan ahead. If you want to eat at a certain restaurant at, a busy time, put your order in around 10:30, 11 o'clock. So you're not surprised by that wait when you put your order in at 11:30, let's say, and you can't eat till 12:30. So, again, that's kind of out of their control. If they get a million orders and within 10 minutes, that window is going to open up. So that's something to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is food options are closing earlier than expected. So, for example, we were walking through Galaxy's Edge. I said, hey, let's go grab some popcorn. And it was 7 o'clock. And mind you, the park closed at 11. So there's a big window there. And we walk over to the popcorn cart or popcorn station, and it was closed. So there's a lot of there's really no posted hours. They're just kind of closing when they want. So I think if crowds start dwindling a little bit and there's not really anyone ordering, they'll just close up for the night because they don't want to pay that employee, I'm assuming. So that's it gets frustrating because if you want a snack and that's pretty much the only thing around and it's closed, you're like, oh, okay, so we'll walk, 5 or 10 minutes to the other thing. That sounds terrible, right? First world problems. But, in the moment, you're hungry, you're wanting a snack, and you're like, seriously? Like, when you're paying that kind of money, you expect the things to be open and you can enjoy it. So, again, something to keep in mind. Don't be surprised if you're walking by a place and you see it closed hours before the park closes. Also, keep in mind, I have to be gluten-free. I have celiac disease, so I have to eat gluten-free. And Disney has always done a fantastic job with this. But again, our recent experience was different. They're starting to cut allergy options at restaurants. So, for example, I used to be able to get a gluten-free hot dog at Award Wieners in DCA, but they've gotten rid of allergy-friendly options at Award Wieners. And that's just one example. That was at multiple restaurants. They didn't offer a gluten-free alternative, which they've always done in the past. So again, if you've got allergy concerns and you've got some time-sensitive kind of meal situations, just plan ahead. So really research menus. Again, it's like another thing you have to plan for Disney, but research ahead, look at the menus and just kind of have an idea of what you want for lunch and dinner that day. And I promise your day will go much smoother than if you didn't. And then breakfast. That's right, breakfast. So breakfast was a pain, an absolute pain. They have reduced the breakfast options down to like 3 restaurants per park. And 2 of those are sit-down character dining. So if you don't want to pay $45 to $50 a head, you're down to 1 restaurant per park for breakfast. And when you've got thousands and thousands of people wanting to eat breakfast in the morning and families, that line gets long. So we wanted to eat at Red Rose Tavern. That's Disneyland's option for counter service breakfast. And we barely made it. We got our order in and picked it up around 9:45. And the posted time is, I think it's like 8 to 10:30 for breakfast. And they close it up like at 9:50. They said, no more breakfast orders. And so you have all these families walking up going, hey, I'm here for breakfast. And the guy's like, no, sorry, we closed ordering down because we just received too many orders. So you've got these poor families that are expecting breakfast up until 10:30 and are being told no a good 40 minutes before the posted time that, no, sorry, go figure something else out. And there's nothing to figure out. Like at that point, if a person decided to go to a table restaurant, reservations are booked. So you're just kind of out of luck. So your only option would be going to Starbucks or something and grabbing some breakfast there. But that's a mess, man. I mean, I hope Disney changes their stance on that or opens up some more restaurants and gives us more options so we're not being turned away at the door when we want to get breakfast, right? That's not too much to ask, I don't think. And it's like we're spending money in the park. It's what they want. So that was a bummer. And I think that's a little messed up on Disney's side just to kind of not abide by their posted times and do their guest right by serving them breakfast in the morning. And that's the last thing you need at Disney is a hungry dad or a hungry kid. And that just kind of sets the tone for the rest of the day. So again, plan ahead, get your orders in early. It's a pain. It's another thing you have to plan for, but it will make your experience a lot better regarding food. And my final note on food, and I'm just going to say this and I might upset some people, but that Rancho del Zocalo, I think it's how you pronounce it. I know it's got like a cult following. People love that place, but man, it was gross. Like that was our first meal at the park and it was nasty. It was cold. I got tacos. My wife had a taco bowl. Again, I have dietary restrictions, so they have to kind of make it special. And it took like 40 minutes. And again, I'm not one to complain much, but usually it takes like 10, 15 minutes tops for them to prepare an allergy-friendly meal. But it took like 40, 45 minutes. And so we were waiting. And by the time I got it, the meat was like straight up cold, not lukewarm, like cold. So that was a bummer. And again, that was the first meal of the trip. So I was a little bummed being like, oh no, like, is this what it's going to be like? And it wasn't. There was some really great meals peppered in there. But again, that's a weird one. I know people are obsessed with it. I don't get it, but maybe we'll try it again and hopefully we have better luck next time. So moving away from food, the next item I wanted to cover were crowds. So that's the number one question my family and friends had when we got back from our trip was, how are the crowds? Did you walk on every ride? Or, are they back to normal? And, what should I expect? I've got a buddy that's going in November. So he was very curious what were crowds like. So I think, experienced kind of the middle ground between there. So wasn't walk-ons, also wasn't back to like hour plus wait time. So the longest we actually ended up waiting was 35 minutes for Radiator Springs Racers. That is a mouthful. So that is not too bad, right? I think the posted wait time was like 50 minutes. So we only waited, we waited 15 minutes less than that. So you'll experience that. Like Pirates of the Caribbean will say it's a 15-minute wait, it's a walk-on. Or Peter Pan, that is the exception. If it says 45 minutes, it is 45 minutes. So again, your mileage may vary on that kind of, you're waiting less than what it stated, but the longest we waited was 30 minutes. So not too bad. You can get a lot of rides done. Again, I know some other people's concerns is like, hey, no fast pass. Are you going to wait an hour for every ride? And that's not true. So when everyone's standby, I mean, that's the only line. So they're not, with fast pass, they would let fast pass people through while stopping standby for a good 5 minutes and then let standby continue while stopping fast pass or whatever. So when there's no kind of start and stop, it flows pretty well. So crowds were, pretty decent, but also not dead, also not insanely busy like it used to be. I'm about to mention something that is a trigger word for some people. And so again, take a deep breath. I'm not meaning to offend anybody, but masks. Disney is taking them very seriously. So this is a warning for some people that may not agree with whatever, or again, I don't care where you fall on the spectrum of caring or not caring about masks and COVID and all that stuff. I'm mentioning this as a warning to just listen to cast members, respect what they're asking you to do, and your trip will go fine. But we saw a woman get kicked out of the park by security and the Anaheim Police Department because she refused to wear a mask inside of an attraction. So we caught it. We were walking, I think, from Adventureland down Main Street, and the entrance of Adventureland, they were stopped there, and she was yelling, and security guards were following her, and she was screaming at them to stop following her. And so I think there was some attitude kind of mixed in there too that probably didn't help her. But we kind of ignored it, went about our separate ways, and actually ended up running into them again like 45 minutes later at the front of the park. And the Anaheim police were there, and it was a mess. So this lady eventually, was kicked out of Disney for not wearing a mask. And I'm sure she had some choice words for the cast member. That didn't help. But seriously, again, I'm going to stress this a million times over. Just listen to the cast members, agree or disagree. I mean, they're requiring them indoors. So if you don't like that, I would suggest you don't go right now. Wait till this thing passes. But for right now, you have to wear a mask inside attractions. So in the queue, on the ride, and they will straight up, like we were on Pirates of the Caribbean, someone on our boat was not wearing their mask, and over the intercom, the music stops, right? And you hear someone go, hey, put your mask on, please. So they're taking it very seriously. They're watching the whole time. If that makes you uncomfortable and you don't like that, again, stay home. But if you're going to be there, just abide by the rules and your trip should go smoothly. So that's my warning. That's the warning from me. So enough about that. Enough about the controversial subjects. Let's move on to Avengers Campus. This was our first time seeing this part of DCA. So we were kind of excited. Again, I had some opinions going into it. I'm not a giant fan that Marvel has a footprint in a Disney park. I think they should have their own park. I mean, if it was my choice, they'd have a third gate down in Anaheim, and you can put all the Marvel stuff you want in there. It just doesn't feel super Disney-y to me, right? Star Wars fits. It's very magical and otherworldly, and again, there's great storytelling there. Just superheroes, for some reason, just does not jive with me. I don't know. It's just weird. It's jarring, right? And I'll get into that. But, the Avengers Campus, so the actual campus itself, the land itself is decent. It's okay, right? It didn't offend me too much. It also wasn't like, I'm not like counting down the days so I can go back and see it, right? So it was all right. But we actually got we got a boarding group for web slingers. And we actually decided, it just shows how kind of uninterested I am in this ride, just because from what I've heard from friends and also kind of the online reviews. But we got boarding groups that we decided to leave for the airport early. We could have ridden it, but I looked at my wife and I was like, do you just want to go to the airport and like chill there? So that's how excited we are to ride this ride. So again, after seeing the reviews and getting some personal experience from a friend, he told me his experience and was like, it's not worth it. So again, we'll ride it eventually just out of curiosity, but we're in no rush just because it looks like just a big video game, and I can play this at home and for $30 versus $300. So again, it doesn't offend me too much. The land's fine, but this is kind of where I'm concerned, and I know other people have noticed this, but the Hollywood backlot, that little part of the park, right? So where Monsters Inc. is, they've got a restaurant there, or a thing that serves just drinks, a little food truck type thing. And then they've got a bunch of Marvel decorations, Marvel theming, like a meet and greet with some Marvel characters, I think like Captain Marvel and someone else. It's so weird because they've got a dedicated land a few steps away over in Avengers Campus, and then they've got like a sprinkling of Avengers in the Hollywood backlot. So it's super weird. That area of the park needs some serious work. It doesn't make sense, right? Monsters Inc. does not tie in with Hollywood, period. It needs work. It seriously does. And then it's kind of weird, too, to have what used to be the end of Hollywood backlot, right? The Tower of Terror, now is kind of bookended with, what's it called? The Guardians ride. So it's just weird. The theming over there needs work. I'm assuming that's going to be the next thing that they work on, but it doesn't make much sense anymore. So you'll experience this. You'll walk out of Avengers Campus and walk into a semi-Avengers campus with Monsters Inc. just sitting there by itself. So it's weird. Really curious to see what Disney decides to do with that area of the park because it needs work. But we did get to check out the Magic Key Lounge in the Starcade, which has been abandoned for years, but they've reimagined it as a Magic Key Lounge, right? And lounge is a very generous word for this area. Again, I appreciate what they're doing. It's pretty cool, but we're not in a rush to go back. I'll just kind of explain what it was. There's a character photo opportunity. Mickey and Minnie pop out once in a while, and you can take a picture with them with a Halloween backdrop or a Magic Key backdrop. You can take photos in front of some cool themed stuff. Again, all Magic Key themed. There's a food and drink vendor in there. Don't get this wrong. It is not free. You have to pay for it full price, but it's just your own vendor. I don't know. And then they offer charging stations. So again, it's a cool place to kind of cool down. It was flipping hot. Let me tell you, it was hot. That's another note, a side note. If you can avoid going in the summer, avoid it. Go when it's cooler. I know kids are in school at that time, but if it's in your power to not go like June through September, just avoid it. It is so stinking hot. We would have to take like 3 to 4 hour breaks in the middle of the day, or else I would lose my mind. I was sweating profusely. It was warm. So yeah, it's a good place to cool down. It's a good place to grab a drink. But other than that, you're not missing out if you're not a Magic Key holder. It's fine. You can get the same experience sitting in a restaurant and chilling there with a battery pack. But overall, it was a good trip. We had a good time. Again, it's hot, so that didn't help anything with, in the middle of the day, you start getting a little cranky and you get hungry, you get thirsty, you get hot. But other than that, we had a blast. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I covered everything. So we're looking forward to our trip in October because, we're going to be down there when it's cooler weather. And I think we're going to see actually all the Halloween decorations. So we saw 90% of it, but they did add some in the last few days. So we're looking forward to seeing, the finishing touches on the Halloween decor and going when we're not melting in the Anaheim sun. So that's going to do it for the trip report. And that's actually going to do it for the episode. So again, thank you so much for joining. And again, thank you for putting up with me for the last 30 minutes or so. And again, looking forward to future episodes and sharing some more Disney experiences with you. So again, you can find us on Instagram at Market House Podcast. Make sure to follow us there for pictures. And again, we're going to share some pictures from our trip there. I think we've already have actually from our last trip. And then also any kind of news or announcements, we'll post something probably in stories or share something on there. So again, thanks so much for joining. Join us next Monday for another episode of Market House. Have a great week, and we will see you next Monday.